welcome back to my channel, Useless Skills. Wilson here. Today we're going to go over the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5. I've been hyped to talk about this. It's been a rough couple days, so I'm sorry this video is late. But I'm hyped to talk about this because this is one of my favorite consoles. Basically, I'm a little biased. I do buy all the consoles, so I can't say I'm really biased. I play them all, but PlayStation really, to me, I've played a lot more this generation than any other console. Well, that and the Switch, but definitely more than the Xbox. They have more games, in my opinion, but we're going to get into that. So, PlayStation 5 has two flagship consoles. They have the PlayStation 5, which is just the PlayStation 5. It has a disc drive, and the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, which is basically the same specs, has the same hardware, just does not have a disc drive. So it's very important, because remember the Xbox Series X, the two different versions, the Xbox Series S, the smaller, let's say cheaper version, is a little bit less, powerful than the Xbox Series X. Now the Xbox Series X, as you'll see, is more powerful than the PlayStation 5 technically in like specs, like what it has in it, but they both deliver incredible quality games. I think I would say equal quality games, and to me the PlayStation has a little leg up that it has better games, in my opinion. So we're going to go over that. So the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Digital, both coming out November 12th. The big difference also, besides the disc drive, is the price. So the PlayStation 5 regular edition is $500, and the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is $400. Now, I said before, if you're budgeting between all four consoles, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Digital, I would go with the PlayStation 5 Digital, just because you can shell out a little bit more money. So if you're going to go for the S and it's $300, but it's like less powerful, you can shell out another extra $100 and get a top tier, really powerful console, basically just as powerful as the PlayStation 5, just doesn't have a disc drive. So I really would recommend that if you're budgeting between all of them. If you can get a $500 console, then I would still suggest the PlayStation 5 over the Xbox Series X, just because, to me, especially now with the acquisition from Microsoft and GameStop, the merger, I should say, not an acquisition, but the merger between, the partnership between GameStop and Microsoft, basically they're going to really push that Xbox All Access and the $35 or $25 a month for the consoles. So I would recommend, if you've got to spend a little, to do the $500 for the PlayStation 5 and then maybe get the $35 a month Xbox Series X, paid off slowly. Because to me, both consoles, like the PlayStation 5 has more right now that it can offer you. Longevity, I'm not sure if it's going to have yet, but it's PlayStation, so they really do think ahead most of the time, as you saw with this last generation, which we'll talk about. Whereas the Xbox right now, to start off, is not as powerful, but I believe it's going to get there, and I'll explain that too. So, PlayStation 5. We're going to go over very rapidly over the stuff, because it's not a lot of stuff. What comes in the box? Not all this stuff. It's just the accessories. So you're going to get the console, whether you get the regular version of the digital, and a controller. Okay? I think just one. And the haptic controller, I'm going to talk about it, but it's really cool, and I'm really excited to get to play with the controller just because of what they did. The new headsets as well, very good. Sony always has headsets with their consoles. Wireless, really good quality as usual. The remote, I would say some people do get it because they use their PlayStation 5s as their digital library media stuff. So they basically watch Netflix and YouTube and all this stuff with their PlayStation. I have a smart TV. I usually just use my smart TV's apps itself. I don't use my PlayStation for that stuff. But if you want the remote, you can do it. It's a lot easier to navigate with it than the PlayStation 5 controller, I would say. Then we have the dock right here for charging, which is super life-saving, because I assume you're going to see later what the remote can do. But basically, based on what the remotes can do, you're gonna really want to charge them. And then the HD camera, much better camera than before. And again, it's if you want to film yourself, maybe streaming or whatever. You also need it for like PlayStation VR, which I'll explain as well. But these are the accessories. But again, in the box, you're only going to get the game and the controller. Okay? Now, this is more or less the same as the Xbox Series X in terms of power, more or less. So they have ultra high speed SSD, integrated I/O. It has really, really, like, the games are going to look beautiful on the PlayStation, just as they are on the Xbox Series X, but beautiful. So they have ray tracing, 4K TV gaming, right, up to 120 frames per second, HDR technology, 8K output. So basically, like, again, it's future proofing. So when everybody has 8K TVs, they're going to be able to still play the games, and it's going to look even more beautiful. So again, it's the flagship $500 console, and if you want the digital version, $400, but you still get all of this. So I think that's very important. The only difference between the digital and the physical PlayStation 5 is the disc drive. That's really it. So the power is still the same in both consoles. That's very important. Now, what other features? It has backwards compatibility, so you can play your PlayStation 4 games, like 90% of them, on your PlayStation 5 console. It's going to boost your game, so that's basically like what Smart Delivery was in the Xbox. Is called Game Boost on the PlayStation. Basically, you put a PS4 game in there, and it's going to look and run faster and better than it has in any PlayStation 4 you could have played it in. All right. You can also upgrade your PlayStation 4 games to digital PlayStation 5 games. So that means if I have a disc, let's say like PlayStation 4, I bought Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, and now I want the PlayStation 5 version of that because it's coming out for both consoles. I could put in the PlayStation 4 disc into my PlayStation 5 and then download from the PlayStation Store the upgraded version, the PlayStation 5 version of that game for free. And then every time I pop in my PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game, I'm playing in my console the PlayStation 5 version of that game, if that makes sense. So they do have that for some games. Then we have the PlayStation VR integration. Again, for people that do VR, your cameras for your PlayStation 4s, as well as the VR headset, they will work for the PlayStation 5. I do believe that it says right here they're gonna release more details on how to claim an adapter, but I believe adapters will be free. So there's a PlayStation camera adapter that will be free and no purchase necessary. I don't know how they're gonna get retailers to give them to you guys or send them to you by mail. I don't know what they're gonna do, but basically you're going to be able to play your VR games in the PlayStation 5 with the equipment you have now. But also they have new equipment for the PlayStation 5 if you want to upgrade. Now again, the digital version, I do like that they have both of them right here next to each other. It's the same information, okay? So the only difference is the disc drive, all right? So it does everything the PlayStation 5 regular version does, the digital does. Now the games. Games right here, this is why, to me, I'm a little biased. PlayStation is my flagship, the best console, in my opinion. So it's going to have Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, again, exclusive to the PlayStation. Horizon Forbidden West, exclusive to the PlayStation. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Gran Turismo 7, all of these PlayStation exclusives, the Sackboy, all these games. And great games. Again, awesome games. Demon's Souls, exclusive. Now, some of them, most of these games are coming out for the PlayStation 4 as well. So if you can't upgrade right now, don't worry, you're still going to be able to play these games. And then when you're ready to upgrade to the PlayStation 5, again, using the smart delivery, no, I don't want to say smart delivery, the, I would say game boost, you can play them on the PlayStation 5 and it's still going to look amazing, okay? The controller, as I said before, has haptic feedback. So basically, you're going to be able to feel, right, the game effects in your hands. It's like a little bit better than rumbling, like it rumbles, but it's a little bit better. And it has adaptive triggers, so basically it's going to simulate you having physical stuff in the game. So like Spider-Man webbing maybe, or bow and arrow in Horizon Forbidden West. A lot of stuff that you can do with the remote. So I'm really excited to actually get my hands on it and play. For entertainment purposes, of course, it has the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drive for the digital, the physical, not the digital edition, and then the 4K entertainment streaming, which again you can stream with the camera, and you can create and share content. So it's really, really unique and really amazing console in my opinion. If you go to Amazon, they have the PlayStation 5 console right here. Again, it's currently unavailable. Again, this is the physical copy. You see the disc drive, and then the digital one is a little bit below here, but it'll say digital edition, as well as you can see it doesn't have a disc drive. It's a lot thinner. So you'll know the difference between the two. All right, now the specs. I'm going to go over it just very rapidly. So this is, again, both consoles have this, the physical and the digital version of the PlayStation 5. So CPU is AMD Zen 2 based CPU with 8 cores. The GPU has 10.28 teraflops, and again, we love our teraflops. I know the Xbox Series X has like 12 teraflops. This is still very good. 10.28 is very good teraflops. Believe me, it's going to run your games just as good. And it all depends on how you use the technology in the console, which, again, to me, in my opinion, they both use it very, very well. GPU architecture, so it's basically how it's structured, and it has a custom RDNA 2. Basically, they also have this, it's like a thermal thing, because these consoles heat up, and it has like this liquid metal that like it's compressed in there. That basically is going to make it so it doesn't overheat, and has like this crazy heat sink. There's this video, I might go over it, I might do a video on it, where basically they deconstruct the entire PlayStation, like from scratch, like all built together, and then they deconstruct it, and it's really, really good and powerful. And I gotta say, it's really, like, the stuff they put into it is amazing. Memory interface, 16 gigabytes. Memory bandwidth, 448 gigabytes. The internal storage, here's the problem with all of the next gen consoles. It only has 825 gigabytes of SSD. Again, you're going to need more memory. I/O throughput, 5.5 gigabytes, and the typical 8 to 9 if it's compressed. And expandable storage, so it does have the NVMe SSD slot, so that means other SSDs, like basically solid state drives, memory, you can connect to the PlayStation 5. It's a little bit more, I would say, consumer friendly than the Xbox. You don't have to get a flagship PlayStation version of it. There's different ones. It might be different prices, just as long as you get the right NVMe SSD, because that could mess with your console if you get the wrong one. But if you get the right one, you can find one, hopefully not that expensive, and expand your storage for your PlayStation, which is very, very important. Because again, these games are going to be massive, and for some reason, these next-gen consoles don't have that much memory. I wouldn't say not for some reason. There's a reason. Obviously, they want to make money, but they have to cram this stuff into this small console, and, well, it's pretty big, but you know what I mean? Cram all this stuff into the console, and they don't have that much space, so I understand why the memory has to suffer price-wise, but still, I wish they gave us more memory. External storage, right? So it does have USB HDD support for PS4 games only. So that means any PS4 game that you want, that you have on a storage device right now in your PlayStation 4, you can connect that right to your PlayStation 5, and your games will be there. It's just basically for storage, though. Optical drive. So again, this is only the physical version, not the digital. It has the 4K UHD Blu-ray drive, all right? And if you guys want, you could check out this article. It's from Tech Radar, and it just has a bunch of different stuff about the PlayStation 5s. But they go really in depth, but I really like this one part where they talk about basically what is it, like what is it, when is it coming, and all stuff. And I want to go over that stuff because I find it really easy, because that way, if you guys have any questions, most of them they answer it right here. So, PS5 key facts, right? What is it? The Sony PlayStation 5 is the next gen PlayStation console. When will it be released? November 12th in the US and Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, and November 19th to the rest of the world. The price will cost $500. I'm just saying US prices, and $400 for the digital version. What can I play on it? Loads of games, as I said before. New Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, Demon's Souls, much, much more. Cannot play PS4 games on the PS5. Yes, PS5 is backwards compatible with almost all the PS4 games, as I said before. And will the PS5 support PS4 accessories? Mostly, the controller will work for PlayStation 4 games, but they haven't really said that they're going to work for PlayStation 5 games. But you really want that new controller for those new games, because that's the whole point. And will the PS5 have VR? Yes, it will, as I said before. All right, so the PlayStation also has PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. So PlayStation Now is a subscription service, just like Xbox has its, Xbox Game Pass. It's a subscription service, okay, that basically allows you to play games, a collection of games, you pay a subscription monthly. There's a 7-day free trial. In this case, you could pay for 12 months, $60, 25 months $25 for 3 months, and $10 for 1 month. And again, it's a collection of games you could play, hundreds of incredible games on demand right away like just like an Xbox Game Pass. Okay, so that's PlayStation Now. Whereas PlayStation Plus again is you subscribe to play online with other people. And again, they have the same tier: 12 months, $60. 3 months is 25 bucks for 3 months, and $10 a month if you want to play a month. You get 2 free games that you can download. And this month it's Need for Speed Payback and Vampire, so pretty good. And again, you can play online with anyone. You have exclusive discounts, and a little bit better, in my opinion, than Xbox Game Pass is you get, besides getting exclusive game content, because they both do that, you get 100 gigabytes of cloud storage, so you can actually store these games that you're downloading, so you don't have to keep them directly on your console, which is important. And you can also share play, which is something that's really cool. So basically, you can play multiplayer and co-op games with a friend, or you can hand over the game to them, basically share it with them, even if they don't own the game, and they can play it. So it's really really cool. It's how I got to play The Last of Us 2, because I didn't pay to play that game, because why would I do that? But yeah, so PlayStation Plus is basically what Xbox Live is for Xbox. All right. So those are the subscriptions themed stuff. For the PlayStation 5, there is going to be this thing called PlayStation Plus Collection, which is going to let you play basically all of the flagship PlayStation games that have come out throughout the years. For PlayStation 4 on your PS5, you can just download and play on launch day one. And the games include Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy, God of War, Infamous Second Son, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, which is the good The Last of Us, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat 10, Persona 5, Ratchet and Clank, OG Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Uncharted 4, Thieves End, and Until Dawn, and probably many more. So I think it's going to be really cool. They don't know how much it's going to be. They haven't released the price for the PlayStation Plus collection, but that's exclusively on the PS5 only, and it's probably going to be the same, like maybe $10 to $20 a month, just so you can play these games basically whenever you want, all of them at once. It's great. But yeah, that's basically the last thing I have to say about the PlayStation. That also is included when you get a PlayStation 5, if you're going to get a PlayStation 5. That's it. I hope this useless skill has been useful for you.